Today's July 4th special is brought to you by JoJo Soria's Barbecue Service. Give JoJo a call. He's the best in the business and he's the most efficient, best priced. JoJo is the man. Any barbecue, any size, give him a call. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to week one's
July 4th special. Happy birthday, America. And we're here to recap the games of the previous week everybody played.
Right.
And also we'll talk about the upcoming games and the state of the league, more or less.
A lot of stuff. We're going to run through each team. We're not going to go through each matchup.
Right.
We have 7 teams in the league, and wow, there is so much to talk about, as we've been mentioning so many times. And as you see on the website and Instagram, Sammy started this new thing. We have Rookie of the Week.
Yeah, Rookie of the Week, and that's been a great addition because we have so many rookies.
So many.
And not just so many rookies, so many impactful rookies.
Yeah, this is, every year we have the 2 or 3 guys that join the league. We bring in 10, and you tell us, only 5 were good. This is something
We're
special.
batting 850 with the rookies this year.
And in impactful positions, no
Right,
less.
Shortstop, outfield, center field, pitcher, etc.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll go through, team by team.
Let's go from the top to the bottom.
All right, you got it. So first place right now. Who's in first place?
First place, 4-0 Gonzaga
Right.
Bulldogs.
So Gonzaga Bulldogs came into the season more of a Brooklyn type field team.
Yeah.
You had Seferati and Gindi with Salim and
A sprinkle of some deal with Ralph Hannon on the mound.
correct.
We were impressed with the complete draft he had. And guess what?
Listen, his late round picks are also
Look great.
stepping up. You have this kid Yossi Abramson, another rookie.
Oh, man, he's
he
pricked.
He completes their outfield.
Ruby Sacco, who's not unfamiliar, it's a sophomore year.
Right.
He's you could put him anywhere.
And
the
guys
kid
like
plays
Soli
gold glove.
Torgerman at second base and Bernie Pindek at first base.
Right.
The guys at the end of their roster is what's complementing the top guys. Top guys are doing what they do best. Actually, let's give a special shout out to Joe Seferati. We all know Joe had MVP seasons in other leagues, but for some reason when it came to night, it never translated. He had a bunch of sac flies,
We both made a comment, and I think it was a comment that he records and has.
No, he has
played
it over and over, but Joe to date, 4 games in, is right now the MVP of the league.
And there's not pop-ups. He's roping the ball. Now, this team has the benefit of playing twice.
Mm-hmm.
They're 4-0, but they look good doing it.
They look strong. They look like a great. The word team applies to
I
them.
think Ralph Hannon didn't pitch much Sunday mornings or something.
No, that's a huge
he's
factor.
Fresh.
And when we talk about Maxi Dita as well, it's also a big thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that they're fresh or they're just hungrier. It's their first league and they're really, really locked in. Ralph looks locked in.
Right.
They look good.
So that's Gonzaga. That's the first place team. It was very impressive overall. The 2 games they played. The first week was against.
Was it? No, not Norwood. He played against the. We're supposed to remember this. They played against Michael Solomon's Bilbinos.
Right, right, and that was the first showing of LSU. That's what triggered them to make this trade that they made. We'll get into.
So it was 2 close games.
Right.
That
But still.
was one. Yeah, but still, and they didn't look good losing. Sometimes you look good losing.
And then they played the Giants the second week. And I just, like we said before the season, I don't think that team's up to snuff.
Freddie Hittery, we'll get to that.
Well, I said, you said no, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So they look good doing it. They're 4-0. I don't see them going away. I see this team running at least to the first 2 spots.
Right. Second, next team we'll be talking about is the second place. Who is it? Is it Norwood?
We'll play a team that played twice also, which is Isaac Norwood Dwight.
Right, and that team,
the Patriots,
they,
the Pats.
They had a big pickup. Unfortunately, Ike Chazanoff broke his wrist or something. Feel better.
Fractured his wrist.
And they picked up Eddie Michon in the slot. And he complements Jackie Towell very well in center field. And the way Ike Mavor has been playing lights out in left field. Also, obviously one of the best hitters in the league history.
It's funny. It added a dimension to the team. Eddie Michon is a veteran. So is Chaz. 5th round pick was the pickup. That's where Eddie has been going over the last few years. There's conversation.
The Patriots are 2-2.
2-2.
Split week 1.
They are.
And just now LSU salvaged a game as they played week.
So now, I wanted to talk about the Pats because they played twice.
Right.
Also, we want to go through all the teams that played twice already first. And the Eddie Michon pickup's big, but it might have put a little hole or question mark in their outfield.
Right, no, 100%.
Chaz Mavor on the corners with
JT in center.
JT in center. Now Stephen Asulin, who's handled right field in this league, could do it. We know he could do it.
They're
He could
going to
win
need
there.
Stephen to step up. And
Yes.
don't forget, Stephen Asulin was acquired in a draft day trade. Stephen
Big
Asulin
trade.
Norwood very wisely selected Box, which is obviously one of Michael Solomon's good friends. and what
Held him
happened?
hostage.
Yeah, and he held him hostage. Got a really good all-around utility player in Stephen Asun, whom they might be really relying upon to
It's
do a lot of
amazing,
big
right?
things.
To cover a corner outfield spot, it's an important spot. So
Right.
yes, his value just
So we know, but
leaped.
the story of that team is none other than David Fallis. David
the only
Fallis
story.
was drafted really late as the second pitcher, no less.
We didn't even know if he was going to see the mound till week 4.
And obviously, the way fate and Providence has it, David Fallis comes in and he shuts down every lineup he faced thus far.
And it was literally a Wally Pipp situation. Mark Cohen, who was on the sidelines, got hit by a line drive and went down, face planted first.
Right.
And David got on the mound and hasn't got off the mound
And
since.
David Fallis looks like he's here to stay for a very long time.
looks
The
good.
situation worked out perfect for him. And listen, David Fallis, he won Rookie of the Week 1, rightfully so, both offensively and
Yeah, the
defensively.
kid carries a stick and he can pitch. So
And then,
we welcome him to the league. Mark Cohen is, hey, they still may use him. They have
Right.
2 pitchers this team. They were going in thinking of the closer role. I got to be honest, David Fallis last week.
He shut up all the critics, and he made obviously Woody look like Woody.
Good. But
Norwood-
week 2, he didn't look as good as he did before.
Right.
He didn't look as good,
Listen, but I think that's a
He still
testament.
battled.
That's a testament to him. He didn't have his A stuff, and we don't have the A stuff, and you come and you navigate your way
grit it
in and
through.
out, and you grit it through. That shows what a real good pitcher is all about. So then, I'm sorry, over here we have the festivity balloons for 4th of July.
Yes.
Now, the third team we'll talk about is also, I think, probably the most interesting team in the league. That's the Oakland Raiders.
Ooh,
The
this
Oakland
is
Raiders.
The team, we could call them the old name, they say, the unknowns.
Right.
But
So-
Jimmy Cohen, who I believe should have been in center field after watching him that 1 week. I mean, it's 1 week, but he looks great out there.
Listen, but the story of the Raiders are all of the, we call them Dub Nation, as we call them. All of the Ashkenaz crop from Lakewood have come and they showed right away. They played one of the veteran teams in the league with Ali, Jimmy, and Saban.
And they were all impressed.
And listen, they embarrassed them. They came in and they played lights out ball, defensively, offensively, clutch,
Right.
whatever
I don't
there
know
is
if
to
I'm saying
have.
embarrassed. Game 1 was a very close game.
Eddie
2-1
Nisi was
score.
also pitched the day before.
Yes, he was on
a little
3
tired.
games. He pitched the day before. So give him a little, he cuts a little
Listen,
slack.
you gotta give credit where credit's due. You have, let's go through one at a time. I have Chaim Schoen, made an unbelievable throw in right field.
And the kid
also,
carries.
lefty,
I could see
and
him.
he's a hitter.
I hope he doesn't get a little home run happy thinking he could hit over that fence. I think he could, but
Right.
that could be a disease for fly balls.
But let's talk about the Yakubovich brothers.
Yeah, Sumi
There's
in left field.
Nussi in left
Nussi,
field.
I'm sorry.
He looks at you. He doesn't come off as a softball player. He's heavy. He's short. But all of a sudden,
Gets
boom!
to every ball.
He has cat-like reflexes in left field. The guy tracks down everything, and he might be their best hitter.
He hits the whole field.
Everything's
Very
hit
strong.
hard. And then their shortstop, who, listen, I think he was a little shaky defensively at short.
He didn't look as comfortable as in the beginning of the game. He looked very cozy, and then as the game wore
I
down,
think he'll come into it.
he has to acclimate himself to shortstop.
But I
Maybe
think-
get used to the field,
But he's a professional hitter.
that's for sure. The ball comes off his bat like a shot out. Now you have Butchie at third.
But you have
who's a veteran in the
and
league
listen,
now.
and he also had a few big hits, Butchie, and
He
that
did.
team. Listen, they're playing with that camaraderie because they have that little proverbial chip on their shoulder because they're all part of
Now-
the quote unquote outsiders.
We said all of this without their first pick.
Right, AB Saka. Right, AB wasn't even
So-
there. They had a sub pitching. Joey Cohen pitched great,
Pitched
but he was
great.
no AB Saka.
But again, AB Saka is a bona fide first rounder. You gotta.
Listen, that team.
This team is a force to be
I
reckoned
guess
with.
I only saw them 1 week. You never know how they act in adversity
Yeah,
in
now,
big moments.
now it's going to be game. People are watching film.
Right, now people
They're
understand
learning.
who these are. Right, so listen, I think this team is a force to be reckoned with. We had a question mark going in. They spelled all question marks, and
Definitely, we know they're on the higher echelon. Win or lose, we don't know, but we know they're on the higher echelon.
right. And then the next team we'll be talking about is a really interesting squad, the Blackhawks.
Ooh.
All right, so the Blackhawks have a ton of outfield talent on their squad. They have Joe Greenberg, the captain, obviously.
Playing
and they're
unbelievable.
Playing over his head. Not over his head, maybe this is what
This
his
is
talent
what Joe
is.
Greenberg
And
is.
then you have Joe Chira, who obviously did not show up week 1.
Well, he showed up, but not
In the
all
state of
there.
mind. No, but that's
Right.
why. Imagine they played great without Joe. Maxi Deed was drafted really late. which
That
could
was the
provide.
best. I think that's the linchpin of this team because Maxi Deed came to play.
And don't forget
He
Billy
was-
Miz. Billy Miz in
and
the
Billy
outfield.
Miz, that's right. So they have a really talented squad, and of course that rookie that everybody's buzzing about played up to the back of what everybody thought he was going to do. Jacob Ayala.
Right, so Ayal was much talked about. We know the coaches from him in high school, both Richard Belding and also
right,
both Jackie
Jackie
Eshko
Eshko.
from both schools. They said the kid can handle it. He came in, and not only did he handle it, he TO'd.
He
was-
handled third base so well that he's going to be the shortstop.
and they played without Morris Cassidy.
That's right. Who's a big bat in the lineup and a big rah-rah guy. Morris is going to be at third, and I think Ayala's a shortstop. So talk about guys getting their opportunity early and really capitalizing. Fowler's getting the starting job. Ayala going to shortstop. This is not just
Right, so
this is big.
listen, this kid's ready for prime time. He showed up by coming to the field, ready to play.
He was early too.
And he had laser-like focus, and I don't see him turning back. That's just the way he start to the year.
I don't see Joe Greenberg treating him either.
Not at all.
No way.
So, and then we'll talk about the LSU Tigers, who listen, they played twice, and I'll call them the hapless Tigers. Last year,
or the Bilbinos.
yeah, the Bills. Last year, the Detroit Tigers, they just didn't look good. Maybe it's the team name, the Tigers.
Tigers could be the curse.
They're 1-3. They just are lacking that pizzazz that they always carry with themselves. Solly Cohen is 1 for the season, batting a 167.
Not looking great.
Captain Mike hasn't been hitting his, like, maybe he started heating up a little bit in game 2 of last week.
Now they have some nagging injuries, but you know what? That's part of the game. And
Right.
if you're not going to make the playoffs because of injuries, nobody cares about excuses.
Listen, Mike did take 3 of his close friends with the last 3 picks of the draft.
That could hurt you.
And that does sometimes come back to bite
Fox
you.
actually had 2 hits, and he looks trimmer. He looks nice, but again, you know what? Big
yourself-
shout out.
So, you know, it's funny.
To Victor Shrem.
Victor Shrem, much talked about Victor Shrem on their team. Somehow, some way, always ends up on Mike Solomon's team. Victor Shrem is stepping it up. He looks very comfortable at the plate. He looks like he has a purpose. And also, we'll talk
He's
about
filling in a good spot. And Isaac Bill.
Rookie Bill, this past week's Rookie of the Week, he might be a difference maker for that team. If this team has a chance to do anything, obviously they're going to need Solly Cohen and Michael Cohen to do their
That's
job.
big. Now, Shlomo Safdie was that secret pick
So
they had.
far-
Rookie of the year in the BKS.
Yeah, but so far Shlomo's been a little bit of a disappointment. He looks like the moment's a little too big for him.
Maybe.
I think he'll get comfortable though.
And
as
he's,
the
he's
season goes
also
on.
a quiet guy. He's not very talkative. He's got to get part of this bunch, maybe.
Right.
Now, Michael went out of his way. We didn't bring it up. He made a blockbuster trade.
Right, so he did draft Albert Gamal, who's a perennial second rounder in many leagues, along with Isaac, his brother.
Who played great in other leagues as well.
I guess they didn't buy into his program.
Yeah.
He said, you know what, I'd rather go with what worked for me the past few years, get Avi Dweck and Sammy Esses, even if you could argue that it's talent-wise a downgrade, arguably.
I mean, you
but
could argue it.
listen,
Sammy's a glue guy. Avi Dweck's a night.
But Mike obviously is putting the boys feeling and the boys mojo before that other, where you say that talent spot.
Right.
But you know, listen, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, they split after the trade.
Now, the way they won is something you have to talk about. We brought it up. Michael Solomon's team actually out-Woodied Woody.
Right, so
And it was big. And to get your first win of the season against Norwood that way.
over the past few years, there's been this running theme where you keep that runner off of first base, keep him in a pickle, pitcher can't call timeout, and the runner runs home. That's been trademarked by Isaac Norwood's teams.
Now, once the runner's off the bag, if he starts going back to first, yes, you get granted time. But if you're sitting there looking to go to second,
And it's funny.
play it right.
The same players keep on arguing, timeout! No, learn the rules.
Run the rule. Either run the guy back to first. If the guy takes off home, throw him out.
Right, so that's
It's softball.
So the game 4 of the season, they were about to go 0-4. They actually stole a game this way. Credit to
Who was up? Victor Shrem.
Victor Shrem actually was on the base pass.
He had a ground ball to short. It was a low throw. Wasn't scooped. Tough play.
Right.
And Victor Shrem.
And also in that game, shout out to Sammy Esses after a misplay by Box, picked up a loose
big
ball,
play.
threw a guy at the plate.
Threw out Norwood at the plate. That
Great-
was a big play.
Great
by
tag
Sammy
by
Estes.
Melech, who again 3 putouts in 2
Unbelievable.
weeks.
He always finds a way to get those putouts.
Right,
That's
so
right.
listen, that team, I think they have a lot to work on. I don't know if they have what it takes. I still think they are the Bills.
The only way they could find luck is if they find themselves in the playoffs and just catch
you
lightning in a
need,
bottle.
you need top 3 rounders to play like
Right.
top 3
Michael
rounders.
and Sawyer, they're going to have to turn on when they have
That's
to.
just the way it is.
And Tuna, we didn't bring up. But did he get hit?
Tuna got hit very hard.
Really?
Tuna got hit. He really got hit hard, and obviously he's always going to be complaining about a strike zone every single time when things aren't going his way. He has to learn to mature over those things, and he knows that as well. Let's talk about the next team. We have the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, very interesting.
So the Cub team, we actually alluded to them. They played the Blackhawks. The Raiders, their first time out.
These guys are better than their record. They're
Right.
0-2, but they went against an unknown team of a lot of good ball players in the Ashkenaz Raider team.
Right, and listen, this team, we know they have a bunch of familiar faces. We have Ali Marshall playing shortstop. We have Jimmy Malach, who is playing
Short center.
really good short
Looking
center
good at
field,
short center,
and obviously
second
one of the
base.
most professional hitters in all the game. We have Michael Savon Solomon, who actually looked old this past week, but I think I think he'll get back into
So
it.
you took the words out of my mouth. The question is, are they aging, or are they aging like a fine wine?
No, I think they're fine. I think once it comes the season starts rolling around and the games matter, I think last year was a fluke when they had that Tiger team and they just
Right.
weren't
Well,
putting
it's funny.
together.
They chose not to go with Maxi Deed, and they went with Eddie Nissim. Again, Eddie Nissim, I do think, gets somewhat of a pass for game 2. It was his 5th game in 2 days.
Yeah, but he's a young kid. He's
Yeah.
he's an exercise fanatic, and he should be in
Let's
shape.
find out. Albert Zolta, I think, is a big linchpin on that team.
So,
'Cause
so
that kid could play.
that team's lineup is really
Very
long.
good. Jacob Sasson.
Yeah.
Kid Zach Katzen showed that he's a real second baseman.
So-
I have a feeling he's going to end up at third.
So that
personally.
team has a lot of talent. I think they're a lot better than their 0-2 record indicates.
Yeah, I think
and-
they'll be fine. They're a force. They're a real force. Question is defensively, and I think with
wait,
Ali-
Adon Dweck played great
That's
defensively
right.
and
And
hit the ball hard.
offensively.
And Morty Grazzi was launching the ball all night
boy
long.
could hit.
And he was a steal for them at the end of the draft.
Dude, they went 10th, 11th round, and every ball, I don't know how many hits he got, but every ball off his bat was shot.
He got a pretty poor scouting report from people we spoke about
Yeah.
before. And listen,
And the
he-
benefit went to Michael
Right, and
Sabon.
and we know Morty and Adon Dweck are attached at the
Right.
hip.
And how could we forget their center fielder gets everything?
Yeah,
Al D.
Al D, underrated, flies under the radar because he's anav and because he's quiet.
Gets
so
on
let's
base.
Make sure he gets the shout out. He actually just won the Gold Glove in Brooklyn.
Doesn't have a
Rightfully
strong
so.
arm. That could be a little bit of a downfall, but his gets to everything out
100%.
there.
And
Unbelievable.
finally, we'll talk about last. They're right now technically in last place, the San Francisco Giants.
Okay, so this is the team. They're in last place, but it's a little, again, it's too early in the season, last place.
Right.
They really tied. 1-3 and 0-2 is almost the same.
Same
They didn't
thing.
play each other. But Freddie Hickory, the first 2 innings of the year, the team chose to go 4 across. I think it was a major discussion in their clubhouse, and one of the reasons that there was trades done. I think Sammy Estes was one of the guys pro the 4 across. You can go either
Maybe
way.
That's why he was dealt.
It could be. And that first inning, that Stephen Gindy and Joseph Arati with Salim Levy and Ralph Annan all hit the ball to that vacated
No,
spot
they didn't.
right up the middle.
They did what professional hitters do.
and they hit it hard.
Right.
And Freddie Hickory's head almost got
Listen,
taken off.
Freddie
one time.
did win the World Series, was the World Series MVP, but you got to give him more credit, I feel, to the defense of
So
last
you know
year's
what?
champions.
They went to playing traditional softball
You got to
field.
play to the strength of your pitcher, and maybe their personnel is not suited for that.
So DT at second is amazing. They went up and they played Avi Dweck up the middle after that. The second game, they had a 4-1 lead in late, 5th or 6th inning. And there was a Joseph Arati line drive that, if, I would say straight out, if Victor Abadi was in right field.
Right, so listen,
Can't corner.
this has to be spoken about, although it's a little uncomfortable. Natan, being the captain, felt obligated to give Yosef, his brother, a few innings in right
Yeah.
field. It didn't hurt him for the first few innings.
Right, you have to give playing time.
100%.
That's not a question. And Joseph could
But
play the position.
Picking and choosing the right times
spots.
is what a captain does.
Who's up in the lineup, maybe put
So,
a guy at first.
listen,
let
they were exposed in right field, and Victor Abadi is the answer, and he's on the team
Oh my
already.
god! And he looked great at the plate.
You know,
He had 3 walks, 2 hits.
Yet another
2 ground
rookie,
balls.
by the way.
Another rookie, and Mabruk, by the way. Victor's engaged.
Yeah,
but
congratulations.
I think this team is better. JoJo Soria, the same way we said about the Tigers. Michael Cohen and Sully Cohen
But-
didn't play. JoJo Soria didn't hit.
Big question mark when it comes to JoJo. We all know JoJo's a big boy, and he has all the power in the world. He did drop 33 pounds in the offseason.
I think he lost fat. I don't know if he lost any muscle. The kid's ripped.
Still.
But you know what? It could make a difference.
He's quicker, but
Now,
does he have that pop that he had last
Bobby Safdie looked phenomenal at the plate. Had 5 or 6 hits.
year? How did he
was-
look in left field?
He looked very good, not great. I thought there was a ball or two
Maybe
he could've
Victor
caught.
Abadi should be in left, Bobby should be in
You
right.
never know. That's not a crazy thought. DT at second's gold.
Natan obviously in center.
Natan said is fine. He didn't have he had 1 drop ball, but it didn't really affect those on a sac fly.
Right.
JoJo, I think, has got to play better. Their lineup just got deeper. They got Albert Gamel.
Right, so that's
And
why
Isaac.
they needed to make this trade. I believe talent-wise they got the better end of
I
it.
do think so. Now-
and maybe that'll help them.
It could help them. You got to hope the night league doesn't. These guys are more tired than I used to it. Maybe the first time playing a night in a while. I
Potentially.
don't know. Isaac Gamel didn't have a great opening night. I can tell you, I play with the kid. He's a good ball player. He's a real ball player.
We just went through 1 through 7.
Yeah.
State of the league. We have a better feel of everybody. We see everyone has the talent to win it all.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. There's no real. Bleh,
Right,
team.
there's no crap team.
Right.
There, it doesn't exist in the league. Talent's too strong. We knew this going into the season, and it's only proving us right.
It's confirmed.
And listen, I'm looking forward to a great week. Upcoming tonight
we
July
have
3rd.
Great matchups. A 4-0 team against a 2-0 team.
Right, so
Stephen Gindy.
first place Gonzaga, 4-0,
Right.
going up against.
Well, technically, first place is on the line here.
True.
Because if they take 2, they have the head-to-head on
sole
them.
possession.
Right. So this is a nice matchup. I see a split. I do. I'm going to go boring. We should make a rule.
Well, they're going up against the Raiders.
Yeah, against the
Right,
Raiders.
so we have the Ashkenazim second time around. I know Gindi has been watching game tape. He asked me for it multiple times, and he's a master at that, and that's why he's always usually in a position to win.
Right, they have the benefit of scouting now and playing pull on certain
But
guys.
still,
They're still unknown.
They're still unknown, and tonight's AB Saka's debut.
That's
that
right.
That might play into a factor.
That could be interesting. That could be good or bad.
And
You never know.
those are tonight's games. Tonight you call a split. You know what? Going in, I can't believe I'm about to do this because I only saw them once. But I think Gonzaga's dropping 2 to the Raiders tonight.
Wow. Okay,
I'm
Gonzaga-
so high on that Raider team.
Gonzaga looks good, but they played close games. They really didn't take away. They had one blowout, but other games were all close. So if this
I think
Raider team is really
the
strong,
Raiders
enough.
had the jitters last week, and they still won 2 against the veterans.
I'd say if there is a sweep, I agree with you, but I still think it's split.
Okay, so that's
the next
game.
matchup.
July 4th, there are no games.
Right, everybody enjoy
And then
the
July
holiday.
5th, we have, I believe, Norwood versus.
Tell you right now?
I believe it's the Blackhawks.
No, it's not. I mean, well, you know what? Let's do it right. Let's make sure.
Right.
No, it's not. It's the Giants, newly acquired with the 2 Gamals against the Norwood's Patriots.
I
That's
apologize.
Monday night.
Right, because the Blacks have a bye week this week.
No, they're gonna play Thursday, but okay, we'll get there.
We'll find out.
We'll find out exactly. Let's see, weather permitting, of course. So the Pats are 2-2 against the Giants 0-2.
Okay, so-
this is D-Day for the Giants.
I think D-Day is going to be more of a letter F day. I think they're dropping 2. I don't see them sniffing this team. I think the Patriots are too well-oiled of a machine right now. They had a few weeks to work out the kinks and learn Fallis' strengths and learn what they have to offer, and with their newly acquired Eddie Michon, I do think they're taking 2. I do think the Giants, I don't think they have what it takes to go up against a team like this. I think they can beat other teams in the league, but I don't think they can beat this team.
Very dangerous week. I don't know if they ran into them at the right time, but I think the Gamals jolt, and the Gamals are going to see the guys on Norwood's
For
team.
league purposes, I hope you're right.
I think so.
I don't see it happening.
I think they're going to win 1, probably 2. Bobby's coming hungry. He always wants to hit well against Norwood. Norwood always says he's dead pull. He's not going to get a hit.
Right.
And you know that Freddie Hittery
Yeah, but
has to have a chip over here.
oh, listen, he was the World Series MVP.
World
He didn't get
Series
drafted.
MVP,
He passed him over 10
Passed
times.
him over. Told him don't pick me. You know that Freddie's got to be coming.
Well,
to
we
play.
know Freddie and Norwood have major beef. We know
Yeah,
that.
a little bit.
But, I also know that Natan is not as mentally tough as Norwood, and I give the edge mentally to Norwood
So
over
you think
Natan.
psychological warfare?
Listen, that's the way I see it. I see that team
Okay.
being too deep. I'm not sure if
find
Ray
out.
Estes is back this week, which might play into a factor also.
Back is the right word
pun
to use.
intended.
Yeah.
Either way, that wraps it up, and I guess
Well, we
the
have
next
one more matchup. Blackhawks.
Is that
against the
officially in
Cubs.
stone?
Yes, it's in stone Thursday night. They all agreed, weather permitting, of course. Blackhawks against the Cubs. I'm calling a Blackhawks sweep.
Wow.
And if that happens, that puts this really strong Cubs team 0-4.
Well, it depends which first rounder comes to the table. Does
Chira.
Joe Chira show up in his right state of mind? If he
Okay,
does,
Joe Chira showed up Sunday morning the other day with his glove, shagging fly balls before YMSL playoff.
all right. So if that being the case, and if that's true, then I think Chira. I agree with you. I think the Blackhawks are a super strong team, and they're stacked.
And Morris Cass is back. Max Edid is hungry. And all he had was another 2 weeks off,
Right.
to
He's
build
fresh.
up his arm strength
Listen,
off of his surgery. And he
you know
looked
what?
good. He's only getting better.
But the Cubs did just lose too.
And the Cubs did pass on Max Edid, Fedi Nissim.
Right, and that
So
was
don't
and,
think
and it was vocal about it.
yeah, don't think Max Edid ain't.
You know what? I'm going boring. I call it a split. I don't see them falling 0-4 the Cubs.
I think the 0-4 is not such a deep hole. In
I
this
just don't
league
see
now.
it happening. I think they're too talented to
I
do
think
that.
there's some top-heavy teams this year.
Yeah, I'm calling a
and
split. You're calling a sweep by the
I'm calling a
Blackhawks.
sweep by the Blackhawks.
All right, that's it.
Good luck, guys. The league has been more exciting and more talented than almost ever.
All right, happy 4th, everybody.
Happy 4th. Enjoy.
Looking
Good
forward to
luck.
enjoy your families
Stay
and
healthy.
barbecues.
Don't drink too much and don't eat too much.
All right, have a good one.
See you then.